Hello, I'm Cindy Arenberg-Seltzer, President and CEO of the Children's Services Council of Broward County. Welcome to another edition of Future First, Focus on Broward's Children. As some of you may notice, we have taken our show on the road. Today we're filming from our very own CSC building, and we are grateful to our partners at Beacon for picking up and moving the entire set in what I'm sure was not as easy an effort as they made it look. Today's discussion will be on the importance of early education in the continuum of a child's path to success in life. Not long ago, early childhood was viewed mostly as a time to babysit children until they reached a more appropriate age for learning. That view has been discredited. Education at this stage in life is about laying a sound intellectual, psychological, emotional, social, and physical foundation for development and building scaffolding for lifelong learning, which has been proven to increase academic success and, would you believe, graduation rates? And it is through high-quality, age-appropriate education that children learn the skills that help them seamlessly transition through all the stages of development and into adulthood. With me today to discuss the importance of early education as a fundamental building block for success in life are Regina Walker, Manager of Broward County Childcare Licensing, Dr. Lori Canning, Curriculum Supervisor for Broward County Public Schools Early Childhood Education Department, and Chuck Hood, Chief Executive Officer for the Early Learning Coalition of Broward County. Welcome to all of you.
Thank you.
It's great having such wonderful partners at the table for this important discussion. Chuck, I want to start with you as the CEO of the Early Learning Coalition. I'm not sure everybody is aware of what the Early Learning Coalition is and what role you play in this whole issue of early childhood education.
Well, Cindy, as you know, the Early Learning Coalition of Broward, we provide the subsidized child care, which is low-income child care for children in Broward County, as well as voluntary pre-K services for children in Broward, which is the voluntary pre-K is for all 4-year-olds in Broward County. And in our work in overseeing those two programs, looking, as you've mentioned in your startup, the quality of those programs, making sure that we are providing an environment for children in those early years, which are so critical for their development, that they receive that in their early child care settings.
And I think a lot of people who may receive the subsidy for child care may think that that's coming courtesy of Family Central, which is the vendor that's doing that. But what's your role in all of that?
Well, first of all, Family Central is a critical partner of ours. They subcontract from us to provide the services directly to the clients. Our role in that is the oversight. Again, we do contract with Family Central that, again, is a terrific partner in the community, an asset to this community. Our role, again, is receiving those funds from the state. I have a board. Of course, you're a member of that board.
As is Regina.
As is Regina. That's right. I've got my bosses right here at the table. And but to ensure that that those services are, first of all, for those children who are eligible because of income and parents who are working or seeking work, but also the voluntary pre-K that, again, is open to all 4-year-olds in our community, regardless of income.
And I'm not sure everybody is aware of that, although I hope that they are. And there's a big movement now. I mean, we've always talked about quality here, at least in the last 10 years that I know of, but there's a level of cooperation that's happening now and awareness that I think is unprecedented in the county. Lori, in your role in this brand new department at the school board, talk about why that was created and what the hope is of the superintendent for that.
Well, as you shared, the early childhood years are truly critical to build that foundation for college and career success and success in life. In our early childhood education department, we do coordinate and support several programs starting at infants and toddlers and going all the way to pre-K age 3 and age 4. But what we also need to ensure is that transition. We're not just building high quality care so that they're ready for kindergarten, but we want to carry that through to kindergarten and make sure that that continues all the way through those primary years with all of those skills and behaviors that they need for success in life.
One of the things that came out recently in the literature that's a cute little phrase, but it really has stuck with me, about how up until grade 3, you're learning to read. By the time you hit grade 3, if you don't know how to read, you're in trouble, because from 3 on, you're supposed to be reading to learn. And I found that whole idea of that transition pretty captivating and simple. So really, you're all working on making sure that by third grade, those children not only know how to read, but are ready to use that.
Well, and Cindy, and that's what you share, the collaboration. That's one thing since I've come to Broward in early childhood. Again, the world has had early childhood as this babysitting, and it's nice, but and as I've, you don't learn to read in third grade if you haven't had some things happen from 0 to 5. And it doesn't happen from K to third grade. And too often, our school system, the community thinks that it starts at K. And we know better. It starts from prenatally to age 5 in what we call early education. But as you pointed, early education is really prenatal to 9 years old, is an early education that is used that then stems to the next level. So we really, in this collaboration that we've started in the last few months, and particularly with Mr. Runcie as the superintendent, really seeing, hey, how do we connect the preschool piece to the pre-K and kindergarten to third grade piece. So we really are working this effort together and excited about that work.
And speaking of partners, Broward County is also a great partner in this, who has taken on the burden and gone beyond what they are contracted for from the state in terms of childcare licensing. The Board of County Commissioners has always taken this role very seriously in terms of health and safety. But Regina, with your coming onto the scene, they're looking at it even more broadly. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, one of the things that, as you're saying, with us being a local licensing agency, we're one of 5 in the state. So with that, our regulations have to either meet or exceed, and Broward County exceeds. And when we look at early childhood education and well-being and safety of children, how does that fare? How are we faring throughout the state? And so we have been looking at building stronger collaboratives, communicating, ensuring facilities meet the minimum standards. How do we ensure and how do we help? How do we build that quality throughout Broward County? And so we are looking at it in a number of ways in our regulations and helping facilities understand the regulations, what's required, what the expectations are. So that's what we're trying to improve communications within the industry.
What would you say that people need to look for when they're going out? You're a parent of a child and you want to go and check out a child care center. What do you tell people to look for?
Well, first thing you want to look for is that license posted on the wall? Are they a licensed facility? If they're not, then you call our office. But you want to make sure that they're a licensed facility. The other thing, you also want to look and see were there any violations, because those violations are supposed to be posted as well on the wall in a conspicuous area. So they should be able to see any violations that that center has received. You want to look at the environment. You should be able to walk into that facility and feel comfortable, because if you don't feel comfortable, if something's not right with you, chances are maybe your child isn't. So you should look at the warmth of the family, look at the aesthetics of the environment. All of that is parental gut you get, and parents should follow that. Ask questions, because we're looking at the safety and well-being of your children. So ask questions. You should be able to visit that center. What activities do they offer? What are their hours of operation? What services do they offer? What quality programs? So there's a lot of different things parents can ask. They can also, we have information on our website, but they can get that information. We have all of the licensed child care facilities on our website, so they can seek facility. All of our violations reports that we do are posted on our website, so they can go and see that as well.
Now, Chuck, one of the things we're always talking about, quality, quality, quality. They can see the monitoring reports. That'll tell them something, but it's not really going to tell them quality.
Well, that's what I was going to say. And that's the next part, and Regina's part is very much, that first part is for that parent to feel comfortable in that setting. But the next part of that is I think, to look up other websites, other choices in childcare, and what makes a quality childcare setting, because it's one thing to be a safe, viable place for your child, but it's another thing for it to be an early education experience that will help them develop more constructively in that childcare setting. So I think to look up our website also, www.elcbroward.org is another place where talks about the very things that Regina says, but also what are you looking for in quality in a childcare setting, and those things are set up for you. I think also because one thing is to talk to other parents who have their children there, but I think also is to also think about what is in it for your child. Too often parents choose childcare centers by convenience, and so we really need to sometimes as parents, while we visit the center and we check it out, while we look at websites to see what the professionals say about quality, we also just need to make sure it's not a choice we're making out of convenience, purely out of hearsay from the community, because that doesn't always mean that it's the best center. And always, like I said, they can always call our office. Also, again, Family Central that we shared earlier, they have people there who can walk parents through selecting quality childcare centers.
And we also want to make sure that it's a caring and nurturing environment. Yes. Where children are encouraged to participate, collaborate, be active learners, and problem solve. When you walk into those classrooms, do you hear a buzz of students as they're working together? Are they completing projects? Can you see that there's a classroom library that's comfortable and nurturing with a variety of different types of books? Can you see math manipulatives and science manipulatives? And do you see students' art projects on the wall? That's really what you want to see. You want to see students working together in that type of environment where they're encouraged to be creative and to become themselves.
I think some parents may think the idea of a curriculum for a child under the age of 5 seems a little weird. What does that mean? But that's your specialty. What are we really talking about when you say curriculum? It's not a scary thing.
No. We're talking a set of standards, which Florida has a set of developmental standards for 3 and 4-year-olds that target specific skills necessary at that age to build that pathway for college and career success. But those skills focus on approaches to learning, like creativity is actually one of the standards. They focus on social and emotional development, so self-regulation and problem solving. And they focus on motivation for reading and motivation for writing. So as part of that curriculum, we want to see teachers have paper in a writing center and crayons or even pencils or pens where children will be encouraged to go there and make mini books by scribbling, even if they're scribbling or just putting letters. But then are they given the opportunity to stand up and read that also and even put a cover on it and turn it into a book? Does the teacher do read-alouds with the children? And if they do read-alouds, are the children encouraged to talk about the story that they're reading? That's also part of the curriculum. We know the power of reading to children to build strong readers. You had mentioned learning to read before then reading to learn. They need to do that learning to read. That starts from read-alouds and starts from getting kids into the books, interacting with the books, and all part of active learning.